Welcome to Be Stellar Podcast.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing?
This is the 4th episode.
Yep, and today we're going to talk about mindset and motivation.
Mindset and motivation. Stay motivated. Stay motivated.
But I hear the motivation is fake, man. If you don't have discipline, you're not going to make it anywhere. What do you think about that?
I think that you have to find something every day that gets you out of bed. I think life without purpose is not life. Talking about like being motivated. I watch my daughter's in volleyball. Okay, 8th grade volleyball. She just started last year playing 7th grade volleyball. She's gonna kill me. 7th grade, not 8th grade. She's in 7th grade volleyball. But one of the things that kind of stuck out to me last night, and this is I'm going to move into motivation with this and mindset, is this. So if you've never watched like volleyball, if you have no interest in it, volleyball's intense. Like if you're in the crowd and you have like a kid there, like if you're generally like watching, literally the score can change so fast. I mean, just little mistakes from whatever team, every time it's a point. But there was a lady last night, team was down, and she kept saying, be a leader, like, every time that she, be a leader. And I was like, you know what, like, there are people watching you, especially in a team sport. If you're losing, I watched the other team as my daughter's team won a set, and like you could see it was like 24-16, something like that. And they played at 25 points. But you could see on the other team's faces, like at that point, they were already done. They still come back and win. You played volleyball in high school.
I did.
You can come back and win. You have to play almost perfect. No, you have to play perfect, not almost, to come back and from, an 8-point deficit to win by 2. So you have to score 10 points to win without the other team scoring.
10 points straight, you can make a mistake. Yeah.
Perfect teamwork. I mean, communication, everything has to be on point. But in life, it gets to be 24-16 sometimes.
A lot of times.
Especially
if you're an entrepreneur.
But do you quit?
Hell no, you don't quit. We never quit.
So what motivates you? What motivates you to say, you know what? Because you've got 5 other people on your team relying on one person. They're all waiting on that one person. Because like on my daughter's team, they have a girl, and she hurt her arm, and they played not as well without her because she's a leader on the team, and you could tell. You have to find something in your life, whether it's a running mate that you go into business with, whether it's your spouse that keeps you going, whether it's you follow motivation people on social media. You have to find something that on those off days, when it's 24-16, when you're losing by whatever analogy you want to use, whatever you relate to, that you're fixing to lose unless you step your game up, right? Your company's fixing to lose out unless you step your game up. It's never over until it's over.
No, that's absolutely correct.
And a lot of times, like with volleyball, there's another set. In life, there's another day. While you're still walking, you know what? You might have lost today, but take a lesson from that. Don't look at the loss as like, oh my God, I lost, blah, blah, blah. Look at it as like, okay, how did I fail? What did I do? How do I fix it? Find something that motivates you to that point, that gets you to the point of saying, you know what? It was a bad week. It was a bad month.
I think that's where mindset comes in play more than motivation. I think motivation is like temporary. It's at the moment. It's like spur of the moment thing, right? So, you feel down. You're just thinking there, right? Your mindset kind of overthrows your brain, kind of like, hey, get yourself out of the slumps. And then you find a little spur of motivation at that moment when you just, okay, I'm going to do this, and you just get it done, right? I think it's mindset and motivation. They work together, hand in hand. What do you think?
Well, I think so too. I think you have to find something that reignites your passion.
You know what my passion is? I get up in the morning and I got 3 little ones running around.
Yeah. Well, that's your purpose.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
And
your purpose in life. I have two little ones that I take to school every morning, and regardless of how I'm failing, I want them to see that their dad gets up every day,
it still keeps going.
that he's not defeated, because we're pretty open in my family. They know, like, if we have financial struggles. They know if, like, everything's not going according to plan, because I want them to see that there is a negative side, but I want them to see that they don't have to be defeated by that negativity. Like, that there is another day, that if you work hard, that good things will happen. But there is those days where you have to learn to push through. You know what I mean? That's what every like sports movie, every like there's a victor. There's always a hardship. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I think everybody that's ever accomplished anything great has had hundreds of those moments, maybe thousands. The only difference between them and the people that didn't make it is people that didn't make it, they didn't have that spurt of motivation to get them through the day, or maybe through that moment, right? Somebody passes away, you get hurt. Like, I broke my finger Monday playing basketball, right? I'm still working. I still put in, 60 hours in the last 3 days, 50 hours, whatever. You gotta work, man. You have to work, and you have to find that motivation to get over whatever's coming in your life. And honestly, it's the mindset that has to get you through it. You have to be able to control your mind. So when you're in the slumps, when you're in the dumps, when nothing is going the way you want, you have to keep that belief, and you have to train your mind to believe that better days are coming. They're in front of us. So it's very, very important. So motivation, if you guys don't have it, I would say, find something you like. Find something you love. To me, it's my kids. Doesn't matter if I have a bad day, bad month, bad year. I got to get up and I have to go work, because what I want to do for my kids means more to me than how I feel that day. Right? You just have to do it. And this is why entrepreneurs always end up winning at the end. When you work for somebody else and you don't own a business, you're just going through the motions, right? You're going through the motions. Whatever you're putting your time into, you're not really building anything for yourself or your family. Everything's going towards somebody else's either business or dream or way of life or whatever. And it's very demotivating sometimes, because you're putting all this time into something that will never give you anything but a paycheck. What I'm trying to build for my family, what you're trying to build for your family, I got 2 daughters and a son. First, I want to build their mindset. Teach them how to think. Teach them how to behave. Teach them that they can take over the world if they want to.
well, and to say on top of that, for you parents out there, future parents, your kids watch you. They learn their behaviors from you, good or bad. Like, in some form, you are your parents, whatever that looks like. I tell people that you can learn something from everyone. You can learn what to do and what not to do. That's what I tell my
Yes.
kids. Like, when my kids have a bad experience, I try to say, okay, what did you learn from that? Did you like the way that person treated you? Did you like the things that they said? And sometimes they're crying. No. Okay. Learn that's how that makes you feel, and don't treat people that way. Because you think people want to be around that person? No. What people do with those kind of people is they use those people, even at the cost of maybe being belittled, or being put down. They use those people. They don't want to be around them, but they know that they can gain something financially. They can gain something, maybe, free, but it's at the cost of their own mindset. But people don't want to be around those
Well,
people.
the mindset is set through your life.
Right.
It's what you see. It's like monkey see, monkey do, right? So it takes a very strong person, man, to realize, hey, I come from nothing. If I don't change something, I'm going to be nothing, right? The mindset shift that has to happen. Man, it took me 3.5 years. I got onto the entrepreneur path, 3.5 years ago. And just like 2 months ago, I realized this thing will work. So for 3.5 years, I was going around not knowing what the hell's going on, just not understanding everything I was doing. But I believed that people like Ed Milet that I listen to, right? That they did the same thing and they made it. So I had that belief. So my
It's
mindset had
possible.
to shift.
You believe that's possible.
Yes, because my dad, man, he hasn't done anything in his life. I was watching my dad drink every day, smoke every day, yell at the family every day. Never really did anything significant, never tried, was scared of everything. And I picked that up. Like he was scared. He never had the courage to go, tell somebody to screw themselves. He never had the courage to say, no, this is how it's going to be. It was just like his whole life he lived off of what everybody else is going to think about him, right? So
Well, that comes with your culture too, though, right?
my culture is big about that.
Yeah.
Serbian culture, I'll tell you the kind of crappy example, but, if I make $16 an hour and you make $17 an hour, you're going to go buy a car that's like 30 grand more expensive, even though you can't afford it, just so you can tell me that you're making more money. Like, it's a stupid mentality, stupid mindset. They're very prideful people. And that's why most of my community is all poor, right? They're all poor. They work regular jobs. There's few guys that, drive trucks, have trucking companies. Everybody else works for them, right? Like, we're a huge trucking community.
Right.
Everybody drives a truck. But it takes and we're very prideful. So in order for you to become something you never were, you have to drop everything you are right now. And not a lot of people are willing to switch their mindset that way.
Did you guys hear that? To become something that you never were,
Yes.
you have to drop that to become something that you are.
Yes. You got to drop the ego, the pride. My people are very prideful.
Write
right?
that
We're-
down. That's an
Right.
Alexander special right there. That's a good one.
I've read a bunch of books.
Well, I
and
know that, but
stuff like that.
that becomes with mindset, though. To become something,
You start thinking, man, if you just beat on something over and over and over, and you won't see results for a while, doesn't matter what you do. If you're building a house, if you're building a business, whatever, it takes time. Everything takes time.
well,
You
if
have
you
to-
talk about building a house, I own a construction company. Building a house, you start with plans. It's a piece of paper that's laid
Yeah,
out
That's it.
that has a finished result. But this has to be nailed to this has to be screwed to that, this has to go here, this has to do this. Right?
100%.
And then when you're done, you're like, wow, look at this. I built this. It's the same thing as a business.
It is
You
the
have a
same thing.
plan. And you say, okay, this is the result. This
Well-
is where I want to live.
So think about the house as mindset,
Uh-huh.
right?
Foundation.
So it's the foundation. So it's like, okay, what do I need to switch my mindset? Okay, I need to put myself in uncomfortable situations. I need to learn from everybody. I need to go to these business seminars. I need to surround myself with successful people that think like that.
Listen to Be Stellar podcast.
Yeah, listen to us. We'll give you some stuff because we're going through it at the moment. And the mindset shift, it's going to shift maybe next 5, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to get to where I want to be. But it's a long-term commitment. It's not something that comes overnight. It's not something that just happens, we wake up one day, oh, my mindset shifted.
Yeah.
Some people do faster, some slower. But at the end of the day, man, it takes a long time of pretty much brainwashing yourself into this new person. Because guess what? The reason you are right now is because you're brainwashed from the people you hung around with your whole life, right? It can be your parents, your brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles. If they're poor, they probably instilled poor mindset inside of you. And because of that, okay, your mindset is poor. You will never make a change. You're never going to get rich. You're never going to accomplish anything unless you actually sit down. I had to come to realization. I sat down and I looked at myself in the mirror. And at that point, I was in the Marines. I was very proud, right? Proud Marine. Yeah, running and gunning. Let's go here, kill shit,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, what am I doing this for?
Right.
I already did my service to the country. At that point, I was in the Marines like 6, 7 years. And I had to literally sit down and say, am I happy with the results so far?
Right.
And I wasn't.
To self-evaluation, you have to have a self-evaluation, because you can't blame your life on everybody else forever if you want to improve. It comes with a hard check of, what am I doing that's hurting me? Whether I'm angry at somebody for something that happened forever ago and that person could care less.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you're angry and have like hate and resentment, got to let all that stuff go. I'm telling you, like, let it fuel you to say, you know, like in our business, like we have a lot of people that we present business opportunities to. We have a lot of people that give us a lot of flack and hate and stuff like that. And you know, like I'm not mad at those people like at all, but 10 years from now, when I'm a millionaire, like I want to look back and I want to just drive through the bank if they work as a teller or something and hand them my check and say, hey, put that in the bank for me, buddy. You know,
Thank you very much.
just not, I mean, that might be a prideful thing, but like that's how I feel though.
It's not a
It's something that
thing.
motivates me. You know what I mean? Like, because they're looking at me, because whenever, and this is, I'm just going to say it. When they tell me no, that they won't even like give me the opportunity to present the opportunity to them, it's them telling me that it's not going to work. Like, and that might not work for them, but like, man, give me 30 minutes of your time for free. Like, leave educated at least. You know what I mean? At least know like what's out there. Don't be stuck in a bubble. Don't be stuck in a bubble of like only your ideas are right. Do you know I have meetings with people that I literally have no interest in what they're trying to pitch me, but I still listen to them.
Well, because you never know. Just because you're not open to it at the moment, or like, how are you going to be open to something you never even heard?
They might even just have an idea that
Yeah.
it might spark something in you that you're like, you know what? I need to implement that into my business.
Yeah.
Or you might find something or for somebody that you're like, holy moly, this guy's legit. Like, I want to be a part of what he's doing. How can I help you? How can I help you reach your goal?
Yeah. Because when you help somebody else reach their goal, you help yourself in the same time. It comes back to you. That's what people don't understand.
Well, and you're surrounding yourself with the people of your mindset.
Exactly.
You're surrounding yourself with winners. Because to be a winner doesn't mean you never lose. Being a winner just means when you lose, you come back next time because you've practiced. You've come back next time and you've fought harder. And you've come back next time. It's like lifting a weight. You know what I mean? When you go into the gym and you're trying to bench something, you know, you don't start with 3 plates on each side.
Nope.
You know, you start with the bar. And you build, I'm talking about, you know, from the beginning, you start with the bar. You start with, what are they, 95 pounds? Is that what they are?
It's 100.
45 pounds. I don't
It's
know.
45 pounds on each
45.
side.
Well, no, I'm talking about
135
just
together.
the bar.
Oh, it's 45 pounds.
45
The
pounds,
bar
yeah.
is just
So,
45.
you know, you start with small and you build and you build and you build and then you max out, right? That happens in business. You max out, but guess what? You go out and you find people, you find a trainer, you find somebody who knows a little more than you do.
Yeah.
You glean off of that person. And then you know what? You go back and that max you had last time, you just pumped it twice.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's the same thing in business. You have to find those people that are going to motivate you. They're going to
Yes.
tell you, hey, get back up because you can do this.
If you think you climb the top of the mountain and you're on the top, and then you meet somebody that's like, I mean, their top you can't even see.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get intimidated by that. You should look at that and be like, how can I get there?
Mm-hmm.
So become their friend, take them out to lunch, ask them to coach you, talk to them, talk to them, learn from them. And most people are not, you know, we think the school is for learning. Okay, I learned more out of 5 books that I read in my life than I learned whole 12, 13 years in school, 15 years, whatever I have right now with a bachelor's. Like, you learn from other people. You learn from books. You don't have to go to school to learn. And this is what we do as a society. We go to school, right? It's literally made to keep us where we're at. It's designed for that. You know, you go to school, you graduate high school, whether you go to trade school or college, doesn't matter. And then you get a job, and then you work on this job your whole life for nothing, right? If you want to make more money, you have to develop yourself into a different person. It's not that this job is just going to give you a raise for no reason. You know, you have to bring value to the market. Okay.
What you were
That's how you're
talking
gonna
about
get a
this
raise.
morning is that you're no longer going to, you know, you have a couple businesses, but you're not going to market your businesses. You're going to market you.
That's it.
And it's the same thing is that if you want to make more money, like, so if you work for a company, right? And all you do in your life is represent a company,
Yeah.
who's representing you? You have to, for lack of a better term, you have to sell yourself. You have to say, yeah, I am worth $100,000 a year. I am. How do I do that? instead of saying, you know what, I'm worth $50,000 a year to a company.
Well, that's the thing. They don't pay you the money; they pay the position.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you die tomorrow, guess what? There's somebody else that's going to want to make that money. They just replace you. That's simple.
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting all your time into this thing that would replace you in a heartbeat.
So are you making money for somebody else, or are you making money for you? Who's the
Right.
top of your ladder? Is it your CEO, or are you the CEO?
Yes.
Because everybody makes somebody, in the workforce, everybody makes somebody money.
Yes.
So where are you at in that ladder? Where do you want to be at? Some people are comfortable with it.
Where are
Some-
you at on the top, on the food chain?
Yeah, the money chain.
Yeah.
You know, some people are comfortable with that. And once again, you know, like we've said, like, I've got respect for people that get up and go to the factory every day.
Yes.
Somebody has to. That's what keeps everything going. But this is for people who have a desire to be stellar. They have a desire to be more. They are tired of being in the same place, and they have a great idea, right? And they were like, you know what? I want to see this happen. So just start. Just go do it. I went to a Million Cups meeting this morning. We go to one every Wednesday morning. And this older lady, and I say older because I'm 34 and she was older than me. She's up there, and she has been an accountant for most of her life. I think she said she was been 18 years here, you know, went to college, stuff like that. But she's starting her own accounting firm.
Nice.
You know,
Great.
and one of the guys that I hope to have on this show eventually is that he said, you know, first of all, I want to congratulate you for going out and starting your own business, because so many people have the idea that they want to do something more and they never do. He said, so kudos to you for beginning something, for stepping out and not being afraid, not letting fear rule you. Because as a society, we're taught it's not okay to fail. You can't fail. It's
Yeah,
not
it's-
okay to be a failure.
It's instilled in school. What happens if you fail a test?
Right.
You fail the midterm, you fail the finals, you fail the class,
Mhm.
right? So you're not allowed to fail. So people are scared of failure. We have people that come. So one of the top reasons why people quit our business in financial services because they don't think they can pass licensing exam with the state, right? So the craziest thing to me, I'm like, so take it over. I don't want to fail in the first place. One of your agents, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't even want to study and try because she's scared that she's going to fail and she's not smart enough, correct?
Yeah, but you know, and that's instilled. That's instilled. The failure is
is.
instilled. You know, because you fail regardless of what you're doing. There's failure in everything. You know what I mean? Like for us, you can feel like a failure because you ask for people to have appointments with you, and you might get 10 people to we were talking about this morning. You might get 10 people that turn you down. And you know, at that point, you don't have an appointment for 2-3 weeks. You know, but that can all change if you just don't quit. But you have to have that mindset. You have to have that, like, okay, just because I failed, I'm going back in. I'm not letting this master me, because when you quit, you are not the master of that. It's the master of you. Because it controlled your life.
Yeah, it controlled how you, dude, I failed our exam 5 times.
Yeah.
And honestly, the most successful people in our firm failed the exam multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple times. So, you know, I know people that make, you know, a couple of million a year that failed it 3 or 4 times.
50,000 a month.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the crazy thing is, you know, can you imagine if they quit after the first time they failed? Like, you have to shift your mindset from the point where, oh, failure is not my limit. Failure is just testing for me to get to the higher level.
Well, you know, and the thing with the test is that if you fail it once, you know what's on the test.
You take it again.
You just take it again. You know what? If you fail again, you know more of what's on the test.
Yeah.
And hopefully by the time you take it 5th time, you got the thing memorized.
Yeah, see, but most people think that means they're stupid or something.
It's not, gosh, we're
It's
all
really
stupid
not.
in something.
Yeah, we are.
I'm stupid in social media. He was showing me this morning he has a new website. What's it called?
AlexandroStories.com. My name, first name, last name.com.
Okay. If he was to ask me, hey, go make yourself a website, he knows this already too. I'd be like, bro, I can build you a house.
See,
But
I can't build a house.
But I can't build a website.
I can't build a house.
And I'm willing to admit, and I'm not saying I'm not willing to learn, I want to learn. But I'm stupid when it comes to a lot of new technology stuff. I focus so much on construction that I can do a lot of things construction. But you know what? I started out stupid then too. Whenever I walked into my first remodel, and the guy I was working for was like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, it's going to look like this when we're done. I was like, you're out of your mind. Like, you're crazy. How are we going to take this and turn it into that? I was stupid. I was ignorant. I didn't know. But now I can walk into a room and say, hey, let's do this, 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 this. And people look at me the same way I looked at him. But I started somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've failed. I've failed in construction. I've failed as a person. You know, but I don't let that defeat me, because I'm motivated. I'm motivated that I look at myself in the mirror every day and say, are you better than you were yesterday?
Oh man, that's so powerful. You know how many people don't do that?
No.
The bottom 99%.
Yeah, you have to self-evaluate every day and say, okay, how can I be better than I was yesterday? I failed yesterday, but do I get back up, or do I live in that failure? You know, I use the analogy of like in church, the people of Israel, when they were led out of Egypt, right? They ended up in the wilderness for 40 years, right? God's providing manna from heaven, quail, all this stuff. But they keep complaining. They're like headed to the promised land. They've been delivered already. They're going, but they keep complaining. Oh, everything was better in Egypt. Everything was better being a slave. Everything was better being a slave. Why did you bring us out here? The problem is, the reason I believe that they were stuck in the wilderness for 40 years is because they didn't walk in their deliverance. Okay? So in the same way of that, when you get delivered, let's say delivered out of being a worker, working for someone else, you finally say, okay, I'm going to start this. You've got to walk in that. You've got to say that I have no quit in me whatsoever. And you can't say, oh, things were better back at A company or B company. Things were better. Food was better. No, you just have to keep walking.
You're looking backwards.
You can't
That's
look
not
back.
going to help you.
You can't
No.
look back. You have to keep walking. And I believe 100% though, like just on a whole different kind of thing, that if the children of Israel would have walked in their deliverance and believed in the Lord, they would have walked right to the promised land instead of it taking 40 years. You can't quit. You can't have that negative mindset. You can't say, yeah, it was better, because you know what? Sometimes it probably is. Sometimes you might have ate better as a slave, but you're never going to hit your promised land. You're never going to hit your area, your goal, if you just keep going back to being enslaved, to being in a mind prison. You can't quit. You've got to develop that mindset, that motivation. You know, one of my favorite, we've talked about this before, but one of my favorite movies is Rocky. Okay, dude,
Rocky,
every time I watch Rocky, I'm like, dude, I'm
gonna take on the world, man.
right.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Where's the weights at, baby? Bring the weights. You know, like
I go to the gym. A lot of times when I'm in the gym, doesn't matter if I'm running, lifting weights, whatever. Unless I'm playing a sport or something and I'm just working out by myself, I'd say probably 60% of the times I'm listening to Rocky music.
Yeah.
Other 40, I'm listening to motivational speeches like Eric Thomas,
Yeah.
Leslie Brown, Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, and stuff like that. So, dude, Rocky is
yeah,
the
just
man.
shout out to Sly Stallone if you ever want to hop on our channel.
Slice the, who's that?
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, Sylvester.
Yes,
Oh, okay,
Sly,
okay.
you know.
Yeah.
We're not friends.
That would be so
He probably
awesome.
wouldn't be okay with me calling
Oh,
him Sly.
man.
You know, he was actually in Tulsa here about a month ago filming a movie. But anyways, that's beside that. But no, for real. Like, so every time I watch that though, because like I said, every great movie has a fail factor, and then that person working to become the victor. Rocky is one of those movies for me that I watch it and I'm just like, man, this guy doesn't quit. And plus, when you know the story behind how Rocky was made, it's like it's a real story of like
It is.
of how he got that movie made. Like,
Him struggling.
yeah,
and-
struggling selling his dog.
Yeah.
Just to be able to make it and then going and buying his dog back.
Yep.
Like, that's almost as impressive as the movie Rocky.
Man, it's so crazy. When he was saying he went to go see a fight, Muhammad Ali fight,
Okay.
and that's when he got an idea to write a movie script off of a guy that's just getting beat up and beat up and beat up, and then in the end he comes back and wins.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he came up. He said the first day he sat down, he wrote 19 pages, and he took it to some movie producer that and he wanted to offer him like some crazy, like $1,000 for it or something like that. Now he was desperate and broke at that time, right? But he believed, right? He his mindset.
Belief is such a powerful thing.
Yes, man. And can you imagine if you just taken $1,000 and said, "All right, I can make my rent for next couple
Probably
of months."
never would have
and
heard of Sylvester
I
Stallone.
would have never known. But he's like, "No, I don't. I want to star in it."
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Wow, that's freaking crazy."
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. Now one of the most famous actors in the country, in
Yeah.
the world, actually.
Still acting.
Still
Still
acting.
acting. That movie was made in the, man, was it made in the or late 70s?
Yeah, something like that. Well, him and Arnold still lift weights. They're in their 70s.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
they
insane.
look better than I do.
Yeah, they still.
You know what I
they're
mean?
still in
Like,
shape.
and you gotta like listen. Yeah, like Arnold. You're just talking about Arnold. Like, so it's I don't idolize people, but man, I look at people like Steve Harvey, same way.
Man.
He's not muscle bound, but he's got his own TV show now.
7 TV shows.
Okay, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you listen to his story, he was homeless. Like, I actually watched a YouTube short the other day of him and these people that helped him out a great amount. Whenever,
Yes.
like, that gave him basically his way to start and to
Yes.
to do his dream.
They gave him line on credit. Or
Yeah, and he
something
like
that.
started crying, and he's
Mhm.
like, "You don't understand. These people right here are the
And the
reason I'm
crazy-
here today."
The crazy thing is, people think, "Oh, I'm in my 30s. It's late." Let me just remind you that Steve Harvey slept in his car when he was 38. 38.
Yeah.
And now he has 7 most popular shows on TV, and he's in his 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So when you dedicate your life to something, right? To dedicate your life to changing your mindset of how you think, there's no limits, man.
Mhm.
There's no limits. And you always have to improve on that. It's not just like you switch it now, starts working for a little bit, and then you go back to being your own self. No, you have to consistently evolve, consistently train, consistently be in situations where you're with these entrepreneurs, more successful people than you, or people that are at the same success level as you, but you always got to be striving to meet somebody that's more successful than you.
Well,
Right?
I put in our Viber chat the other day. Learn to compete against you. It's not you against everybody else.
Yes.
It's you against you every day. Eric Thomas said it like this: don't don't wish for like the downfall of the guy who's number one, but start chasing the guy who's number one. And then he talked about how Tony Robbins at that time was the number one speaker in the world, and he said, "I'm coming for you, Tony."
Mm-hmm.
Not like he's not wishing ill upon Tony. He's just saying, understand every day that I wake up,
It's a good
it's
competition.
to be that I want to be number one. Like I want to be number one, and that's you against you. That's like the game of golf. Like the game of golf is you against you.
Dude,
you know,
we gotta do a podcast on golf one day, man.
there's
We
so
really
many there's
do.
so many great life analogies with golf.
So beautiful.
We like playing golf, but like with golf, it's one of the only sports. I actually heard a guy in Meeks the other day. He was talking about it's like one of the only sports that you can go out and like have fun, and it's just you. You know what I mean? Like you can go shoot around basketball, but that you're not playing against anybody. You're just, can I make this shot? Practice, blah blah blah. You can go play golf by yourself and literally like sit the same course, and it's a different game every time.
Yep.
It's a different shot every time. And there's so many life analogies that come with golf. From the ball you choose to the clubs you hit to knowing what you're supposed to do, and it just comes with experience. And maybe we'll do a podcast just on golf one day because it's fun.
It's the greatest game ever.
But it is a competition against you. Yeah, you're competing. Like if you watch the Masters, if you watch any pro golf event, like those guys are literally just playing themselves. It's how well can I shoot today? How well can I shoot? Because you have to outshoot that person, but that person literally has no effect on your game whatsoever. They're playing their game, you're playing your game.
Playing your game, yeah.
And it's how well you do that day. And like you listen to and some of those guys, they have to take off like 6 or 7 months sometimes because they literally let their golf score reflect like their life score. Like their mood is determined about how well they played golf that day.
That's crazy.
Because it's their whole life.
That's
And
awesome.
what you don't understand though is like when those guys go and they try out, they pay for their own hotels, everything. They pay for everything. So if they go and they don't make the cut, they just wasted however much money.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, to try to go compete for that event.
It's kind of like going into business. You invest a bunch of money.
Life analogy.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's so crazy, man. That's why I love golf, man. I love golf because if you go out there and hole one, you grab you're on the tee box, you put the ball down, you swing as hard as you want. Let's say you swing it live as hard as you want, right? Or you can. and it goes way to the right. Like now you're in the woods somewhere.
Hmm.
What is the next shot you're gonna take?
Are you going to be frustrated?
Same thing
Yeah.
in life. What is the okay? So you went for this thing, you swung as hard as you could, and now you missed the whole straight line in front of you where you
The
wanted to go.
easiest path.
You missed it, right? Now you're like, the life is not. It's like stock market, right? It goes up and down, up
Yeah.
and down. It's nowhere. It's not just a straight line. So in golf, it's all about the second shot. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how you started. Okay, just like in life, doesn't matter where you started. What are you doing next? What's the next step,
Mhm.
right? And let's say next shot. I was on a hole 5 this one time, par 5 hole, right? And
Which
dude,
course?
I butcher,
Which course?
Neosho, right?
Neosho,
here.
okay.
I was on a third hole, the par 5, and dude, the first shot I butchered it. I mean, he barely made it to the tee box, and I was like, man, this is terrible. But then I took a 3-wood out, and I hit it like 230 yards. I'm like, all right, right in the fairway.
Back in play.
Yeah, back in play. Then I took a 5-iron or something like that, and I put it right next to the hole, like 3 feet from the hole, and then I putted for a par.
And you missed your putt.
No, I putted for actually a birdie. I birdied it. And I was like, okay, so it didn't matter how I started.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the finish? I still birdied that hole.
Right, and that cost in the middle, because like you said, you can hit it. You have this wide lane a lot of times that you could try to get the ball in, and you don't have everything correct, and so you end up in the woods. You end up with an obstruction, and so you make two choices at that point. It's either, do I just pop it back in the fairway and then take the next shot,
do I
try to make it through this little hole? You couldn't hit the 100-yard fairway, but can I make it through this little 5-foot hole? Because if I can,
It happens.
and it does. And so, but if you're frustrated, it's probably not going to happen. You've got to learn to take life shot by shot, because you know what? When you sliced it, you didn't take yourself out of play. You just made it a little harder for you to get up to your
it.
goal. And in life's like that. You got to swing at life. And you know what? You may not land where you want to be, and your goal might be obstructed a little more, and you have a couple of options, but you're not out of play. And that's what you have to learn, like with business. You're going to have failures, but you're not out of play. You've just missed your mark. So go back and hit the ball, either just, and just as to continue with the golf analogy, get it back in the fairway.
Yep,
Take your next shot. Make it to where you can see your goal clearly again. Or maybe you see your goal, but it's a little more narrow window. High risk, greater success.
Well, even if you get a bogey, it's like life, right? Hey, I want to have a successful business in 10 years, right? That's your par,
Yeah.
right? And then you get a successful business in 12 years.
Right.
You just scored a birdie. You still got to the same point.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Because you're going to have highs and lows. You're going to have failures. Things aren't going to always look. But you know what? Like this morning, to be honest with you, in like financial services, I haven't been working on it as much as I should, because I've been trying to finish up these jobs in construction. And, I'm in the middle of it, and that's kind of the whole thing. And man, I was kind of feeling like, gosh, this isn't going anywhere. I went to a meeting this morning, and boom, just like reinvigorated, remotivated. Like there is possibility here.
Mm-hmm.
There is hope here. Because man, I'm human, and that's a mindset thing for me. I'm still transforming my mind, because, like when you look at your bank account and it doesn't have as much money as you'd like, when you get bills in the mail and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to pay those. It's hard. It's hard. But you know what? I still wake up the next day.
Yeah, what if you feel sorry for yourself and you don't do anything about it? It's never going to change.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter if you do something about it or you don't do something about it, right? You're still going to be broke. So you might as well go out there and do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so most people just get defeated right away before they even start.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
And you have to overcome that. That's the mindset. You have to overcome that. You have to be an overcomer. It's the only way. Like you have to, whether you hire a life coach, whether you attend motivational meetings, whether you motivate yourself through YouTube, whether you put sticky notes all over your house that remind you to smile, that remind you that you are awesome. Because listen to me, everybody that has listened to this podcast, who listens in the future, hear what I'm saying. You are awesome. You do have value. You are worth something. Whoever has said those things that have made you feel that you're not, quit listening to them.
Yes.
Hear
And no
me.
matter who it is, man. It can be your parents, brothers, sisters,
You
siblings.
have value. You are worth something to someone. Believe that. If you don't believe me, I'll give you my phone number and you can call me and I will tell you you're worth something. I know that. I've been in that place where I felt worthless. I've been in that place. I've felt worthless as a father. I've felt failure as a husband. I've felt, mistakes in business. But you
So
know what?
what did you do about it?
I just got up in the morning and got dressed and said, hey, thinking like that's not going to get me anywhere. I've cried straight up. I've literally woke up in the morning, looked at my bank account, walked to my back door, and just started crying
Wow.
because I had to get it out. You have to have an outlet. You're going to get frustrated. Whether you go to the gym, whether you have a punching bag, whether you get in your car and scream, just the most primal scream you've ever screamed in your life, you have to get the frustration out because you'll take it out on everyone around you. If you don't, but you have to get it out. And sometimes you just, for me, there's times where I get so stressed out and I don't want to talk about it because I know what people are going to say. And so I just refuse to talk about it with other people because they're just going to say, oh, it'll be okay, buddy. I know it's going to be okay, but that's not helping me in the moment.
Yeah.
So I'll go and I'll pray. And sometimes I pray and sometimes I just stare out the window and I just cry because I'm like, how do I fix this? How do I make this right? Regardless of what the situation is. Because, there's financial failure, there's marriage failure, there's, sickness comes in your body and you can't get rid of it. Disease, cancer, things like that. And things look hopeless sometimes. But you just have to, we talked about belief. You have to believe that if you put in hard work, that if you practice, it's going to be better. You're going to be better. Things are going to be better. And that's the mindset you have to have. I'm not going to let this defeat me. Even if I lost today, I'm going to win tomorrow. I'm going to win next week. I'm going to win next month. I'm going to win next year. There's victory in sight. You just have to believe that whatever you're going through, something good is going to come out of it. Something good is going to come out of your situation. It will. I promise. If you just believe and you stay the course and you work hard, it's going to get better. It has to get better.
Dude, that's so powerful.
It has to.
That's so powerful. Just to have the mindset to overcome all the negative stuff, because like 80% of our thoughts are negative on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Like most people you interact with on a daily basis, they're negative. So their energy transforms into you. You turn on the TV, the news is negative,
Mm-hmm.
right? You watch, like we are literally brainwashed in society through movies, through TV shows, through all kinds of stuff. Like when was the last time you watched a movie where somebody wasn't depressed, on depression pills, alcoholic, divorced parents? They were like, that's literally just part of our society. Like everything we run into is negative. And it's very, very hard to train the mindset. It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of early mornings, a lot of studying, reading motivational stuff. It takes a lot of, listening to like people like Ed Milet. Dude, that guy changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
That guy changed my life. In 2019, we had a wealth bowl event through our financial firm, and he showed up. He spoke with us. Changed my life. Just go, and it only takes one person. You can run into 300 people, and that 299 of them can be negative. But that one person impacts you the right way,
Mm-hmm.
it's over. Your mindset, something just happens inside of you. I don't know if you guys have this thing inside of you like I do that tells you I can do more. I am meant for more. I come from nothing. When we went through like refugee camp and civil wars and all that stuff, we all lost hope. Nobody had hope. Imagine being in a refugee camp with like 500 people. You have no right to work, nothing, zero. Like you have no money, no income. Everything is given to you from Red Cross. You live on cans, right? And then all of a sudden you put this paper in and the United States government calls you and goes, hey, congratulations, you've been accepted to come to the States. So we come here and I see all these people are rich, these tall buildings, huge, and I'm like, man,
And
I
then,
am meant to do something more.
And to stop you there, on that part where all these people are rich, those people think they're poor. They have a place to live. They have electricity.
Yes.
They have all this stuff that they don't understand that 90% of the world doesn't even have.
Man, I landed in Chicago airport in 2001 on June 7th, right, 2001. And I walked out and I was just like, oh my God. Like you see brand new like Nissans, like the standard is just so much bigger. And then we're driving back. I remember we're driving to my uncle's apartment at that time. And it's my first time in America, first time in Chicago. And I look to the left and I see all these buildings. And my uncle goes, see that red one? I work in that red one. I'm like, what do you do there? He's like, I clean office spaces. And I'm only 15 and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't want to work in that building. How do I own that freaking building? And I don't know, something was born inside of me. It's like God gave me a reset on life. And you know, I wasn't a believer till recently. Right. But something gave me like hope in my life that things are going to be better. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I fell into a society where everybody just goes to a job, goes to work. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's middle class. America has the biggest middle class in the world.
Well,
that's why the standard is so high.
America runs on middle class.
Yes.
You know, sadly, America runs on the factory workers, runs on the trades.
Yes.
Without these people, we have nothing.
That's true.
There has to be, so like I said, I've got respect for people who can go to the same job every day. Because I can't. You know, but somebody has to. I can't either, man. Somebody has to. You know what I mean? Somebody has to. So kudos to those people. But for those of you who want to be something more, and it doesn't always have to be, you know, this is an entrepreneur show, but it doesn't always have to be in business. You might be an employee, and you might be happy being an employee, and that's awesome. But maybe you want to improve yourself. Yeah. Maybe you have traits, maybe from your parents, maybe traits you've developed, and I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I don't want to come home and take out my frustration on my wife by yelling at her. I don't want to come home and take my frustration out by yelling at my kids. Maybe I want to be different. I want to be more forgiving. I want to be happy. I want to be more grateful. Just anything. That's part of being stellar.
It is.
It's not just a business mindset change. That's kind of what we focus on, but it's a lifestyle change.
It's everything. You can be stellar in
Don't be unhappy.
Whatever you try, just try to be stellar. Mm-hmm. Try to do better. Shoot for the stars. I don't care what it is. Better parents, better husband, better uncle, better wife, right?
Better kid. If you're, if you're a teenager, if you're a kid and you listen to this, like a better kid.
Yeah, to your parents, give them less headaches.
Because we all do things we don't want to do. You know, Paul said, the things I want to do, I don't do, and the things that I don't want to do, I end up doing.
Yes.
Oh, wretched man that I am. I mean, it's from the beginning of time. Like, we all do things that we don't want to do, and we don't do the things that we know we should. That's part of the mindset change. You know what? Like, husbands, when it's late and you're tired and there's a sink full of dishes, just do them. Do the dishes. You know how much your wife, instead of going, hey, why aren't these dishes clean? Blah, blah, blah. Just do the dishes. If the trash needs to take out the trash.
It changes the it changes the atmosphere at home.
Yeah.
And as a person that goes out there and works all day long, you want to come home to a happy home.
Mm-hmm. Like, you want it should be your fortress, your castle.
Yes, it should be your safe place. Well, I hate the word safety, but it should be kind of your safe place, because like you get beat up in the world, and then when you come home, there should be a place where you feel comfortable. You're reacting with your wife, kids. Like you come in and you like re-merge together as a family, and it should be a happy place. It shouldn't be. And I'm working on that, man. I watched my dad my whole life just not do shit, man. Straight up shit. Like, my mom was a slave, dude, growing up. And when I got married, man, I expected my wife to do all that stuff. Like, straight up. Like, that's just
that's also part of your culture, though. The way that you're married in Croatia, I mean, / Serbia, like, that's the culture.
That's kind of how it is. Like, man goes out, makes the money, and wife takes care of the home. And, there's nothing wrong with it if that's like...
If it works.
Yeah, if it works and husband and wife are both on the same page.
Because there are people out there, men and women, who thrive on being a housemaker, being a homemaker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they thrive on it. They make sure everything, that's what they love. That's actually how they show their love. Is like, I cleaned the whole house today. That's how I showed you my love. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's what I was saying is like when you just take the chance, empty the washer and dryer. You know, when you just say, okay, hey, listen, I know you've been home all, because if you're a homemaker, that's a job in itself. If
Oh,
you're
it is.
if you're a stay-at-home parent, like that's a job. Like you're taking care of everything that's happening so your spouse can go out and make money. It's a job. For
It
those of
is.
you that are the ones that make the money, don't belittle your spouse for being the person that stays home and takes care, because imagine if that person was gone and all of a sudden you have to find somebody to take care of your kids. You've got to find somebody to go out and pay your bills. You've got to find somebody to clean your house. Okay? That person does all that stuff. And a lot of times they don't ask for anything in return. You know, you're going to have troubles. You're going to fight. You're going to not understand. But understand also that that's a job. Being a dad, being a mom that just takes care of your kids, taking care of your kids is a job.
No, it's a lot of work, man.
And so shout out to my wife. She's a stay-at-home person. Like, straight up, I appreciate you, babe. 100%.
Yeah,
Like,
mine too. And I mean, she takes care of 3 kids. She homeschools 3 kids. She takes care of a big ass house. It's a lot of work, man.
Mhm.
And she's exhausted. Like my baby doesn't sleep through the night, and she breastfeeds all day long. And it's just, dude, it's a lot of work. And you know, she's learning all these curriculums for homeschooling and learning how to
she
teach
has
them.
to learn so she can teach.
Exactly. Well, she sucks at math too, so that's kind of the funny. But I always make fun
Charlotte,
of
we
her.
love you.
I always make fun of her a little bit, right? She's not that good at math, but now she's learning the math so she can,
Hey,
you know,
straight up
teach
though,
the kids.
my daughter's in 7th grade. My other daughter's in 6th grade. And the way they do math now is different, right? So
like all these
my wife,
additions and
my
stuff.
wife loves math. So if they come in and they have a question about math, I'm like, yeah, let me look at it. And then I just go, I don't know. The way I'm going to show you to do that's going to be wrong. Ask your mom.
Yep.
Because I look at it and I'm like, oh, the answer is 42. Well, how'd you get that? Well, I just did this. And they're like, oh, we can't do that.
It doesn't make sense.
Like,
That's the easy way. We want to complicate things. Yeah, that's what the
You
school
know,
system is. It's
yeah.
complicating things.
It is, and you know, like, so kudos, like, to those of you. I just wanted to point that out. Like, I'm appreciative. This show isn't about putting anyone down.
No,
It's
no.
not a putting down. It's not about putting down people who stay home. It's not about putting down people who have jobs, who like their jobs and they like their life. It's for people who want to be better, business wise, entrepreneurship wise, mindset wise, healthy wise. Like, that's what this is for. It's for you to change your mindset to be stellar, to say, I am going to accomplish the goal I set out to accomplish, whether it takes me a year, whether it takes me 10 years. I'm not going to quit, and I'm going to set out to do what I was put here to do.
Exactly. So yeah, not to put anybody down. It's just, it should give you guys, look at the show as ideas, right? If you're somebody, like he said, that likes to go to a job, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to a job, you're unhappy and you're wondering, hey, maybe I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Just go for it.
Yeah, just go do it.
Just go for it. Try it.
Start somewhere.
Start with like 5 hours a week.
Yeah.
Start with like an hour a day, 10 hours a week. Do whatever you can on the side of your regular job. It's not going to be easy. It always gets harder before it gets better.
Always.
But if you don't ever take that direction, right, you're never going to change your life. You're just going to be miserable for the rest of your life. What we're really trying to do, man, is that, guys and girls, right, we're trying to change your mindset to think positive, to go for your goals, to shoot high, right, be stellar.
Be stellar.
Shoot among the stars and become the better person you can be. Anybody can become a better person, I believe,
Yeah, and that might not count for millions of dollars in your bank, but my gosh, it might count for millions of feelings to other people that are around you. Because most people believe people can't change. Straight
Yes.
up. And this is the truth. People don't want to change. We talked about that in the last episode.
Yeah.
You have to want to. You have to want the change. And it might take you a while. Like I said, it takes me a while sometimes to change. Like, I've been trying to go to the gym for 3 years.
You missed the last, what?
3
years?
I don't want to talk about it. It's
takes-
been a while, but it's in my heart. Like, even now, like, I still am like, you know what, I need to do this. I need to make the decision. You know what I mean? So hopefully, as you guys watch this, and my muscles will get bigger
See
and
his biceps grow.
biceps will
and
grow in, and
six pack coming out. You're gonna see it through the shirt.
I'll sit here shirtless. Just kidding. I'm not gonna do that.
Anyways, that's funny. Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Okay, we really appreciate you all.
Tell your
and-
friends about us.
Yeah, spread the word. Tell your friends. We're looking for people to come on the show. If you're willing to fly in from anywhere in the country, if you're here local in Southwest Missouri, what is it? Northwest Arkansas,
Yep,
Northeast Oklahoma, or Southeast Kansas, right?
Southeast Kansas.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, if you're in
if you
this
have a
area,
business
just-
and you want to just kind of talk about what you're going through, what you've been through, present your business a little bit.
Yes,
We're going to have an episode to talk about like the financial stuff that we offer.
yes,
Not to get you guys to buy anything, but to just educate you on the things that are out there that nobody talks about.
yes.
Because we have a lot of those.
We do. Because the society, there's a reason why everything's set in place, right? And if you go outside those norms, you're looked at as weird, and nobody wants to be weird.
Yeah.
But
And-
remember, weird rich, normal poor.
Yep.
So which one do you want to
Embrace your
choose?
weird.
Embrace your weird, exactly.
Be stellar. Thanks for tuning in. I'm David Wyrick.
And I'm Alexander Ostojic. Check out my website, alexanderostojic.com, or go to blackeagledesign.com. Get yourself some apparel.
Apparel's coming. Be stellar apparel is coming.
We're gonna try and launch that here pretty soon, guys. We really appreciate you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have
good day.
a stellar week. See you next Wednesday.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.